I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up.
Welcome to a very special edition of New Day Federal Way, as the Federal Way community celebrates the life and work of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. This community celebration is a joint effort of the City of Federal Way and the Federal Way Public Schools. For the 2015 celebration, a series of events were organized during the MLK Day weekend by the Federal Way Diversity Commission, Decatur High School, and the City of Federal Way's Human Services Program. Decatur students took a lead role in designing the program and determining how to best reflect the community's appreciation of Dr. King. For this year's celebration, students chose diversity as the theme. Event performances and speakers touched on the importance of diversity and reflected the tremendous diversity found within the Federal Way community. The celebration of Dr. King began January 16th with a school assembly at Decatur High School. Principal David Brower welcomed officials, including Mayor Jim Farrell, Councilmember Lydia Asefa-Dawson, Dr. Andre Sims, Kendrick Glover, and Federal Way's diversity commissioners, who joined students in a spirited celebration of Dr. King's work. This year's theme, entitled "What's the Difference?" talked about all the differences within diversity. Students were treated to cultural arts, like a Latino dance performance and a high-energy demo put on by the school's hip-hop club. Federal Way is a very diverse community in which over 130 languages are spoken. Students reflected this diversity by reciting Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s iconic "I Have a Dream" speech in English, Swahili, German, and Chamorro.
I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up, live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal.
Nina ndoto siku moja juu ya milima nyekundu ya Georgia, wana watumwa wa zamani na wana wamilika watumwa wa zamani wataweza kukaa chini pamoja katika meza ya ndugu.
Ich habe einen Traum. Ein Traum, dass eines Tages der Staat Mississippi, der in der Hitze der Ungerechtigkeit, der in der Hitze der Unterdrückung,
Nangina Nanashon, Za Ufam, Manituk Putsi, Tatinananha, Ahi Tiputi Zakahat, Session Niha.
Decatur Principal David Brower spoke to students about what diversity means to him.
As I look at you, my Gators, and I see all of you from different family backgrounds, whose families come from different countries all over the world, who speak different languages, who have different interests, I see evidence before me that we have come a long way since the days of Martin Luther King.
On the following day, the Federal Way Diversity Commission hosted a food drive to collect donations for the Multi-Service Center Food Bank. With the help of participating grocery stores and retailers, Albertsons, Fred Meyer, Safeway, and Walmart, volunteers were able to collect 5,000 pounds of food that will go to Federal Way families most in need. On Martin Luther King Day, Monday, January 19th, the community's attention returned to Decatur High School for the main events. The school hosted a community breakfast, which featured singing by the St. John Bosco Community Choir that sang songs popular during Dr. King's marches. Artwork from the Diversity Art Contest was on display throughout the event, as Kanakporn Vasiksiri was announced as the contest winner.
As part of this event, the students and commission decided to hold an art contest. And the art contest was a school-wide contest, and the top 10 winners, if you want to call them winners, of the art contest were presented to the Diversity Commission on Wednesday evening and at the commission meeting, and the commission chose a winner. This was what the commission chose. It's an amazing piece of art. And so for the 2015 MLK Celebration Art Contest winner, so this is her piece of artwork. It says diversity, and if you look at it closely, there are faces in every letter. It's really awesome. It's really amazing. And I'm going to let her read her story and pronounce her name the right way.
My name is Kanakporn Vasiksiri, and Yeah, diversity in my meaning is a variety of something, like people, animals, objects, anything. I reflected the diversity in my work by focusing on people and their backgrounds, also the differences in age and gender. I chose to focus on this because I'm an exchange student. I have the opportunity to meet lots of people from many parts of the world. We speak different languages, have different cultures and thoughts, but we are all family. This interests me a lot. Thank you.
Jagusha Garanega, in all their color and splendor, performed a traditional African dance that got the crowd moving. Mayor Jim Farrell spoke about the courage of Dr. King and the Civil Rights Movement, and the need to bring a similar inner spiritual courage for the effort to build a more diverse society.
The occasion today, Martin Luther King, I was asked to provide some comments regarding diversity and what that means. And the theme for today's celebration of Martin Luther King Jr. is diversity. It's an altogether fitting and appropriate theme. The need to achieve greater diversity is the modern counterpart to the struggles of the civil rights movement. Legalized segregation is gone, as we all know, but less visible barriers still remain that continue to divide us. Even in a community as wonderfully diverse as Federal Way is, we still have wonderful opportunities to achieve greater diversity. I want to talk this morning not just about diversity, but about the courage required for us to get from where we are today to a place of greater diversity and ultimately of greater equality. Just as Dr. King and civil rights advocates drew upon a deep well of courage to face down institutionalized racism and spark a non-violent revolution of peaceful social change, today we will have to practice courage of the spirit to confront and erase the barriers to a more diverse and equal society. First, we must ask ourselves, in regarding to the diversity question, what is it? What does it mean? Diversity can mean many things, and it does, obviously, to mean different things to different people. In its most fundamental sense, though, I believe diversity is a challenge, more than it is a thing. Like justice, it is a quality we seek. Diversity is a condition that we must strive for. It is often spoken of as a question. Is this neighborhood diverse? Is this board, this commission, this council diverse? Is our community diverse enough? Diversity asks the question, can we do better? And of course, that answer is yes. Dr. King spoke of justice, of equality. He spoke of a future in which all Americans were judged on the content of their character and not the color of their skin. As a nation, we have truly come a long way, but we're not there yet. If people are truly to be judged based on the content of their character, then we must create a more diverse society. The author, Ola Joseph, put it this way: diversity is not just about how we differ. Diversity is about embracing one another's uniqueness. We cannot embrace the unique qualities of our community if we are divided by neighborhood or zip code, church, or clique. Dr. King and his followers had what I like to call 4 o'clock in the morning courage. That is the rare species of courage that means someone can wake you up in a dead sleep at 4 o'clock in the morning, and despite what challenges you faced the day before, you are ready and determined to fight for your principles and your vision. It is a breed of courage that is unstoppable. Dr. King himself described courage this way: courage is an inner resolution to go forward despite obstacles. Cowardice is submissive surrender to circumstance. Courage breeds creativity. Cowardice represents fear and is mastered by it. Cowardice asks the question, is it safe? Expediency asks the question, is it politic? Vanity asks the question, is it popular? But conscience asks the question, is it right? And there comes a time when we must take a position that is neither safe, nor politic, nor popular, but one we must take because it is the right path. It could be as simple as reaching out across your comfort zone in school or at work or in your neighborhood and introducing yourself to someone with different colored skin or different religious beliefs or a different way of living their life. Because diversity is a challenge to our community and to each of us. It is a challenge to celebrate not our differences, but our uniqueness. Today I want to leave you with a personal challenge. We've come here to celebrate Martin Luther King Jr. and the ideals he worked so eloquently for and sacrificed his life for. We know the struggle is not over. The challenges we are continuing to seek in this country start with the individual. It starts with you and you and you. That's no different now than it was in Montgomery in 1955, in Birmingham in 63, in Selma in 65, or Memphis in 1968. The great changes of the civil rights movement were created by the cumulative actions of individuals, just like you, committing themselves to practice 4 o'clock in the morning courage on behalf of justice and equality. A more diverse community and nation starts with individuals. It starts with you walking out of this auditorium today, committed to making change in the community around you. So my question to each of you is, what are you prepared to do to achieve the dream?
City Council member Lydia Asefa Dawson spoke about the broad definition of diversity and inclusion, and what we as individuals will do to embrace and promote diversity and inclusion.
Diversity is such a beautiful, beautiful concept if we know how to embrace it. And so that's what I want us to go away from this room today. So in preparing for this speech, I Googled diversity and found dictionaries, several different definitions, but they all say the same thing. The first one, Merriam-Webster says, the state of having people who are different races or who have different culture in a group or organization, the condition of having or being composed of different elements, variety, especially the inclusion of different types of people as people of different races or cultures. Another one says, the inclusion of individuals representing more than one nation, origin, color, religion, socioeconomic status, sexual orientation, and etc. And then Wikipedia even breaks it down to its smallest components, and it defines every word. So multiculturalism, or ethnic diversity, the promotion of multiple ethnic cultures. Cultural diversity, the respect of different cultures and interculturality. Functional diversity, or disability, a term for special needs, disability, impairment, and handicap. And then in the political sense, diversity is the political and social policy of encouraging tolerance for people of different backgrounds. And then we also talk about diversity training, which is the process of educating people to function in a diverse environment. It is about understanding each other and moving beyond simple tolerance to embracing and celebrating the rich dimensions of diversity contained within each individual. Let's embrace diversity. As an African immigrant in America, I know my destiny and opportunities are linked directly to those like Martin Luther King Jr., who fought to open opportunities to all, and for that I am so grateful. And that's why I think I'm able to stand in front of you today and speak. As we're talking about diversity, as we're talking about inclusion, and we look around this room, what is it you, as a person, are going to stop doing in terms of being judgmental, in terms of marginalizing people, in terms of looking at people differently? Or what are you going to continue doing? Maybe you do include people. Maybe you are embracing people. Maybe you are asking curious questions. Maybe you are in the moment when people talk to you. Continue doing those. But then also, what are you going to start doing? Something you haven't been doing in the past. Can I smile at someone in the grocery store? Can I smile or talk to someone instead of fearing or having that something blocking me and fearing the person next to me? Can I just be this person? Can I start doing something different? Can you imagine what our community would be like if we learn where we stand and our view of diversity, and if we make just those small changes?
Everybody, it's my honor to introduce to you Dr. Andre Sims.
So here's what I know to be true. So I was, physically present at the City Vision meeting on the first Tuesday of this month. And because we want to see all of these faith-based organizations and all these nonprofit organizations and all of these groups that are willing to help our citizens become better people regardless of ethnicity, we all have challenges. It's not just a white issue. It's not just a black issue. It's a brown issue. It's a yellow issue. It's a red issue. It's a human race issue, not just the African American race. And if we're going to do anything to honor Dr. King, we're going to have to create platforms and forums and symposiums to purpose ourselves to have conversation about the statistics that because of technology can no longer be denied. I get to see what has happened in certain cases because somebody had it on their phone. Somebody chose to videotape. And you know, pictures are worth 1,000 words. And we just have to deal with the reality of it. We have a community that desires to see us grow, to see us come together, but it's going to take more than a prayer rally, a symposium, a conversation with the chief one time, a group of pastors who meet with the chief one time, a great student body that recognizes that honoring a legend is worth them taking the time to call city officials and have them speak. And I really hope that we today walk away asking the question and looking on the websites to find out how can I personally be involved.
City Council member Martin Moore led a stirring tribute to State Representative and former City Council member Roger Freeman, who passed away in November. As a former member of the Diversity Commission and City Council, Representative Freeman organized many MLK Day events and was a guiding voice in the community, advocating for justice and equality for all.
For me and others, because it's the one time that gives us an opportunity to renew our commitment to justice. It gives us the opportunity to reflect on all the opportunities that we're given in life to each and every one of us. And so, as I stand here before you, I've written down some notes, and one of the things I've written down was life lessons. I know that every single one of us in Federal Way and in King County and Washington and all over, quite frankly, we walk away with life lessons from MLK. We read his readings, we watch his speeches that he had made, and we walk away with lessons. And today, and from the 29th of October, I walked away with 1,000 lessons. 1,000. And every day, I'm going to live my life with the lessons and the gifts that Roger's given me and all of us that have met him. And so I want to again take the time to say thank you to the Commission, thank you to the people in Federal Way for looking at, researching, and putting together a proposal for building a tribute so that we can all live like the life of Roger Freeman. I want to invite a special person whom I always tell her, we're going to keep talking, we're going to stay in close contact, and I'm never going to forget about her. And her name is Sonia Freeman. I want to invite her to come up, and I want to thank our Diversity Commission and the chair for sharing some flowers of sunshine, I may like to say, and want to invite our diversity chair person, Greg Baruso, to come up and present some flowers to Sonia Freeman, and want to invite Sonia to share a few words. Thank you.
Thank all of you for being here, and thank you to the committee that is planning to continue to honor my husband. He did do a lot for our community and for the state, and I'm just very grateful to have been his wife, and I thank all of you for your support of him over the years, and my family and I are very honored. Thank you.
Kendrick Glover, Diversity Commission Chair Greg Baruso, and Decatur High School Principal David Brower addressed diversity and the impact made by Dr. King.
Good afternoon, students, staff, parents, community members, and dignitaries. I would like to acknowledge what an honor and privilege it is to stand here before you today. As we all know, we're here to celebrate the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Last Thursday, we also celebrated the birthday of Dr. King. He would have been 86 years of age. Today, we observe the federal holiday signed into law in 1983 by President Ronald Reagan. However, this holiday wasn't officially observed in all 50 states for the first time until the year 2000. I have been tasked with delivering a message today on what did Dr. King do and what was his movement about. In my personal opinion, the movement never started and is nowhere near finished. Dr. King movement was about doing what was right for the people who were being treated unfairly. from the issues such as police and race brutality, poverty, housing, racism, and education, just to name a few. Most remember Dr. King for his infamous speech during the March on Washington entitled, "I Have a Dream." I beg to differ, however, that Dr. King was more than just a dreamer. Dr. King was the king of nonviolence whose unnatural ability to turn the other cheek changed the social landscape of America and some would argue the world. In order to understand Dr. King's movement and what he stood forever firmly for, one must take into account some key events that took place in the African American community up to and during the movement. First, I give you the story of Emmett Lewis Till. 2 months ago, I had a nice apartment in Chicago. I had a good job. I had a son. When something happened to Negroes in the South, I said, that's their business, not mine. Now I know how wrong I was. The murder of my son has shown me that what happens to any of us, anywhere in the world, had better be the business of all of us. Mamie Till Mobley, mother of Emmett Till. Emmett Till was an African-American teenager who was killed at age 14 on August 28, 1955, for reportedly flirting with a white woman. The woman's husband, who I will not name because his name is not important, his actions were. Him and his half-brother went to Till's uncle's house in Money, Mississippi late at night after the alleged incident and took Till away. The two white men in turn beat Till, even gouged out one of his eyes. If that wasn't bad enough, they would then shoot him through the head, dump his body in the Tallahatchie River with barbed wire and a cotton gin fan around his neck. Till was a 14-year-old teenager from Chicago, Illinois. He was on summer break in Mississippi visiting family. The murderers whom were arrested were later acquitted of Till's kidnapping and murder. The reason this story is so important is that the death of Till was coined as a sacrificial lamb for the civil rights movement, hence Rosa Parks, Medgar Evers, and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measures. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We asked ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightening about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in every one of us. And as we let our light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. So, to answer the question that I was given, what did Martin Luther King do? What did Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. do? Dr. King inspired people and nations worldwide to strive in a nonviolent manner for the human rights, civil liberties, and economic guarantees rightfully due to all people. Thank you.
So today we honor Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. We honor his hopes and dreams of peace and harmony amongst all people, no matter of color, religious faith, background, or beliefs. We honor the encouragement of all people united in harmony and united to one cause of living in peace. The City of Federal Way Diversity Commission was created in 1993, and its mission, to help Federal Way become a community that is united amidst diversity, where each individual is respected, equally valued, equally needed, and equally cherished, where equality is not sameness, it is equivalent value. Equality is not sameness, it is equivalent value. When the Diversity Commission was created, Dr. King's I Have a Dream speech was already 52 years old. Do you believe that the word diversity was even widely used in 1963? And if it was, did anyone at the time know what the meaning of diversity was? Decatur students' theme for the celebrations of diversity is diversity. What is diversity? Like Councilman Assefa Dawson, Webster's dictionary defines it as the quality or state of having many different forms, types, ideas, and the state of having people who are different races or cultures. As we've seen from our art contest contestants around the room, if you take a look at them, the word diversity has more than one meaning. So what does diversity mean to you? And what about different races or cultures defined as Webster's dictionary? How does the definition fit to your ideas? as to what diversity is or represents in your personal life. Again, Diversity Commission's mission statement are the words equivalent value. You see, when you examine Dr. King's teachings and ideology, the Commission and Dr. King's beliefs, although now at least 47 years old from the time of his death, still ring true today. I hope you have enjoyed today's celebration, and thank you for coming.
It really is our pleasure to host this event and to take a moment to pause and to reflect on how we're doing on the realization of Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream, that all will be judged by the content of their character and not the color of their skin or some other label that we put on people. As I've reflected with my students, and as I look at my own students who speak 38 different languages in their homes, who come from all different backgrounds and different religious creeds, we've come a long way, but we have far to go. But I have great hope, and I have great faith that we can realize that dream, and we truly all can live in a world where we look at each other as fellow human beings, and not somehow other and somehow different, and therefore somehow less than us. And my faith is based on my students and who I see. Because if you spend any time with the youth of this city, you know that there is greatness in them and greatness among them. And it is in them that I place my faith and my hope that we truly can realize Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream.
Thank you for joining us here at Decatur High School for a very special edition. I'm Kathy Arndt, and we hope you'll join us next time on New Day Federal Way.
All we say to America is be true to what you said on paper. If I lived in China or even Russia or any totalitarian country, maybe I could understand some of these illegal injunctions. Maybe I could understand the denial of certain basic First Amendment privileges because they haven't committed themselves to that over there. But somewhere I read of the freedom of assembly. Somewhere I read of the freedom of speech. Somewhere I read of the freedom of press. Somewhere I read that the greatness of America is the right to protest far right.